On the third episode of Red Alert, we have a great show for you today. Cesar Sayoc Jr. He lashed out at immigrants, gun control advocates, and prominent Democratic politicians. On Facebook, he misspelled the racial epithet directing at the likes of Oprah Winfrey and Barack Obama. He also sent explosive packages to several of the president's critics and is now under the custody of authorities. That's the subject of today's Red Alert inside the MAGA Bomber. Who is he? He was caught today. We'll tell you everything you need to know about this man himself. So thank you for joining us here today. My name is Spencer Walsh. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and this was, as we know, this was a MAGA bomber. Like, there's no doubting it. And once we get into some more of these details, I think you'll find that we know for sure. Like, this is put to bed. This is not a false flag. This is some real stuff. Like, these bombs were real. They could have exploded. This is a serious threat. That was given to these officials. Not even just these officials. They're the people who had to deal with the bombs in the first place. Like, it's likely that once these were found, like, they never could have gotten to these officials. And by the way, this. Let's get this straight. Cesar Sayoc, he's a suspect. He's not a very smart guy, so it's pretty obvious he didn't think this through, which is very tough. And there's a lot we don't know about the mental condition of this guy, but we can't really say too much about that yet. I mean, he could have been crazy. He could have had some mental disability of some sort, so we don't want to make too many judgments. But yeah, Cesar Sayoc, he's an obvious Trump supporter, very big on Twitter. He lashed out at immigrants, gun control advocates again, and prominent Democratic politicians. He shared inflammatory news stories from Breitbart, hard-edge videos from Fox News, and angry posts from pages like Handcuffs for Hillary. It's obviously on Facebook. He tweeted a threat to, or maybe on Twitter as well. He tweeted a threat to a former Vice President, Joe Biden, and also posted photographs of himself wearing a red Make America Great Again cap at one of President Donald Trump's rallies. Like, as the New York Times describes, the New York Times is going to provide a little bit of background here on this guy, as after a frenzied nationwide search of the person who sent these 13 makeshift bombs to some of Trump's most prominent critics. And, like, this is not just, like, any Republican random hit list. Like, you know what I mean? This is, like, people who Donald Trump specifically has called out, and they're not just, like, any Republican talk. Like, if you got, like, George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, I get that. But, like, if you're targeting people like Maxine Waters, a random congresswoman from California, and intelligence officials like James Clapper and John Brennan, like, you know that there's something else here, and there's something, like, this is a Trump dude. Like, this guy's coming from a perspective of Trump and only Trump in the first place. So, yeah, Sayoc was picked up Friday morning in Plantation, Florida at an AutoZone car part shop. Authorities released a photograph of a man with a buzz cut and a mouth that drooped toward a frown. They hauled him in a white van plastered with bombastic stickers expressing support for Trump and animosity towards those who clashed with him. Yeah, it literally, like, you could not make this stuff up. He's literally getting picked up today in a white van, or this was Friday where this happened, Friday, October 26th. This guy was picked up, and he was picked up, again, in a white van, and it is some pretty incredible stuff that was plastered on this van. Things like lying media, whatever, and it's very hard to, like, zoom in. Like, there's just, you can see there's like 20,000 pictures of President Trump. CNN sucks poster I can see, a big picture of President Trump in the United States. Like, it's one of those things, like, where if you saw it like as you're driving down the road in your car, you'd be like, okay, that guy's insane. Like, not just even that he's a Trump supporter, like, it's that he has that many stickers, like, prominently in that way. They're like big sentences. It's just dishonest media is on the van's back right window. CNN sucks. Crosshaired appeared on a photograph of one of the more liberal commentators at CNN, which received more than one package from Sayoc at his offices in New York. They had it evacuated and everything. So, yeah, records show that he was registered Republican. Key point here. He's a registered Republican. Don't let any stupid right-winger try to tell you otherwise, because, dear God, I've already seen it on Twitter, and this is pretty ridiculous. Federal officials said Friday that they were still exploring the questions of motive. He appears to be a partisan, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said, but that will be determined by the facts as the case goes forward. So, yeah, that seems to be pretty much what he was trying to do. He's the partisan. Definitely a partisan guy. He's definitely a big President Trump supporter, and it makes sense. It's definitely it's the most logical conclusion that he could have done this in some sort of way. And the question is, I think really the jury is still out on what was happened to him. Maybe it's a drug abuse because he was living in that white van they picked him up in. I did not believe he had a home, which is a little unfortunate. Like, could something have happened in his life that turned him to this kind of way? Maybe some sort of abuse of drugs, some sort of abuse of some other substance, and I think it'd be very interesting to figure out and understand what was going on there. The New York Times describes him of having a lengthy criminal history, also saying he once danced as a male stripper. Interesting. He is pretty muscular, or at least his biceps are. In the picture, he's like holding up. I was like, I would not want that guy anywhere near me, that's for sure. He was once accused of threatening to use a bomb against a customer service representative, and the New York Times describes he led a life filled with failure. Well into middle age, he was living in his mother's with no furniture, according to 2012 bankruptcy records, and he had at least recently again been living out of his van. Some of the packages falsely listed sender representative listed as a senator representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Another interesting situation. He tried to put Debbie washing machine Schultz as the sender of this, which, like, I mean, on one hand is, if you think about it, it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz here. It's slightly believable. Like, if you think, like, of all of the Democratic representatives who would put their name on a package and send a bomb to someone, like, it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Like, Debbie, like, you're that kind of guy. You're that kind of gal, I guess you could say, that would do that kind of thing and send someone this kind of package. But still, it was definitely not Debbie washing machine Schultz, but it was definitely, like, it was someone in Cesar Sayoc Jr. who had much deeper problems than anything Debbie has at the moment to deal with. I think both mentally, just a lot mentally, he has going on with it. And I think it's something that should be very important. Liberals should, like, take a step back on him. But the important thing to remember is this was a partisan who did this, and it's very dangerous. And it's really a product of one thing, which is the rhetoric President Trump creates and the people who he singles out into attack. And, like, when things are attacked like that, and when you have so many other people attacking whoever President Trump says attack, like, you're going to get similar reaction to this. It's just bound to happen. It's just a matter of fact. It's just bound to happen. It's very real. And I think a really good example is, like, there's some real interesting things coming out now at the moment about the life and the way Donald Trump's rise, like the effect Donald Trump's rise had on this guy, Cesar Sayoc Jr., as he rose to his political interests, let's just say, rose. Because, like, apparently in 2015, before Trump came to power, it sounds like I'm talking about a dictator, but before Trump, like, got into politics, like, he just was posting his talking about his nightlife, talking about his workouts, and he had little to no political content. Like, there was nothing really going on there. But then when Trump got into the race, he got way more political. His Facebook account suddenly disappeared on Friday, but still, there was tons of political rage there as things got a little bit more intense. We found it and immediately removed the suspects' accounts on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook sent a statement. We also continued to remove content that praises or supports the bombing attempt or the suspect as soon as we are aware. And I think it'd be interesting. I mean, I think, like, the news media probably has this all saved at this point, but it's very interesting, and it really is a direct correlation here, in my opinion, to President Trump and the fact that this guy is getting hyped up. Like, President Trump, it's not just Republicans that President Trump is making more to the right wing. He's bringing people into this who had nothing to do with politics before he came into power, turning them so radical and so violently right wing. They make 13 bombs and send them to 13 prominent Democratic politicians. And the fact that he can do that in just a few years with a guy who doesn't even talk about politics at all, and just, like, is like a stripper or a male stripper, just a wacky dude, and turn him into a bomber, a serial bomber, is crazy. And, like, it shows, like, you get the sense that people could do that, but they just don't because they're responsible. And President Trump is far from that. let's just say. So yeah, much remains opaque about Sayoc. Some of his social media posts seem to suggest he was a part of a Seminole tribe in Florida. Lenny Altieri, a relative, said that Sayoc's father was from the Philippines, his mother was from Brooklyn, and he was raised by his grandparents after having a problem with his mother. According to Lenny Altieri, who was a relative, said. Sayoc, he had short stints in college as a young man and had a passion for soccer. He reflected it in numerous soccer-themed messages on the van. I attended Brevard College, a small Methodist-affiliated liberal arts college, according to New York Times, in western North Carolina. Before a year, he did that for a year, beginning in the fall of 1980, and played soccer on the soccer team, but did not graduate, according to the spokeswoman. He also attended the University of North Carolina in Charlotte for 1 year, an official said. So yeah, he worked as a male stripper for a period of time. He also worked as a manager for traveling male revue shows. And then, yeah, he now is a serial bomber, as a serial far right-wing bomber, which is pretty incredible. That level of transformation, again, the big point, I think, is that it's really coming out so far from what we know about this guy is, what really stuck out to me is his Facebook. Like, it was no political content, nothing, before Donald Trump came to power, and or just got into politics. And now it's all political. It's all him. It's all about Donald Trump. It's all Donald Trump all the time, and it's very disturbing that this is the way they like this. This is what they're thinking about right now, and you just really hate to see it. It's very disturbing to see something like this just come through. Just like the fact that Donald Trump can do that to people and get them this hyped out about politics is very disturbing. Yeah. So Rachel Humberger is the wife of one of Sayoc's business partners, and Humberg said that Sayoc seemed like a friendly man based on the short interactions she had with him, and described the shows as Magic Mike style, reference to the Magic Mike movie, obviously. More recently, she said Sayoc had been talking about her husband about starting a new business, fish farms. Altieri said that Sayoc at one point had a lot of money, but lost most of it, but he did not say how Sayoc had got it. Sayoc had a pretty long and big criminal record dating back to 1991, which includes felony theft, drug charges, and fraud, according to public records. He also threatened to blow up a power company over a bill. Sayoc was on the phone with the customer service representative and was upset over the amount he was being billed for, and then he stated again he was going to blow up the utility. He planned to make it blow up worse than 9/11 and blow the agent's head off. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff we don't know about. Very disturbing. He has a big criminal past and seemingly a big affinity for bombs. Yeah. In June 2012, he also filed for personal bankruptcy, listing assets of $4,175 and liabilities of $21,109. Lives with mom. Handwritten note on the petition said has no furniture. Yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of kind of his life that's been really turbulent, just to say the least. Really turbulent, really pretty awful, pretty pathetic. Until I guess Trump's rhetoric found him, and he turned into literally the MAGA bomber we all know and have to deal with today. A later place of residence again for him was not his mom, but the white van that he parked outside Aventura, Florida. It was an eating strip mall that houses LA Fitness, a Jewish market, a bakery, a post office, all that stuff. Manuel Prado, a 56-year-old hairdresser in the salon at the mall, shops at the Waterway, said he had seen Sayoc for the past several years living in the white van with the distinctive stickers, and this is pretty chilling. Manuel Prado, he says, I knew right away it was him when I saw the pictures of the van today in the news. That van was his home. It was really smelly when he had opened the door and you walked by. It was horrible. He might drive off and run an errand or something, but every morning that van was there in the parking lot. Prado was a hairdresser for 17 years, and he also saw Sayoc frequently at LA Fitness, a large club immediately west of the shopping mall. He would pretend to exercise. I think he would just go there and to take showers. He'd sometimes use a bicycle in the gym. I assume he was a member because they're very strict about that. Yeah, he seemed to be very antisocial. He was a loner, and he would never acknowledge anyone at the shop or whatever. He was very, very quiet. Yeah, so, I mean, there's pictures. If you look, just give you some of his vans, like a picture of Van Jones next to the Stan Ed Suck sign, just big pictures of Trump, like in every single window. Just get the idea. Every single window is plastered with Trump posters. It's insane. Yeah, but that just kind of gives you an idea of the way he's living.